Hello everyone, Dev Victoria is here, and in this video I am going to investigate and show you how did I fixed a bug with the updated Pinball Mansion, and I also would like to address how you can build a game with dots and how does the builded Pinball Mansion looks like now with this new version. So the bug was that if I started the game, all of these balls remained yellow, or this light yellow, so to speak. So how does this work? So we've got this ball here, and this has this material override asset. And this material override asset is just created this ball indicator mod. The ball indicator mod is a simple URP lit shader, nothing special about it. But actually, we've got some new windows for analysis, and one is this components window. The components window is available even when the game is not running. And basically, what we adjusted this HDRP material property base color. So what it generated, if I use this override asset, a component of HDRP material property base color. So now let's see if I run the game. I'm going to just run one frame because this is enough for us. Now let's see what happens if I choose this. You see, there are no entities or system matching this component. Actually, I already fixed the bug. So let's check the dots hierarchy. Now you can see the entities in a hierarchy format, and this is good because now this hierarchy doesn't really matches the hierarchy what we've got here in the editor, because those entities that are going to take part in the physics simulation are going to be unparented. So like this bumper moving part is going to be unparented. I mean all of those, and drop targets going to be unparented, and so on, etc. So, but some who are not really taking part in the physics simulation, or they have a static body, or more precisely, they've got physics shape on it, but doesn't have a physics body on it. I think those are still here. So let's check. Actually, we can check this because these tabletop limits are here. So, but some of the table parts might be here. So, but let's go back to the ball. So we've got this requested ball here, and as you can see now, it generates the URP material property base color, which is nice. And if we go back here in the components window, the URP material property base color is now lists. It shows us what kind of attributes it has, and it shows us all of the relationships that it has with. But it's kind of interesting that it doesn't list any systems, even though we've got some systems who are updating this. Okay. So let me just go back, stopping the game, and you know what? Let's check the tabletop limits. Yeah, this got a static physics body and a physics shape, and the table wall is got this got only the physics shape, so it is here. So let's see. You know what? Let's now that we are kind of derailed a bit, let's check. So the table wall is in fact didn't really get quite unparented because it's a static object. Huh, that's good to know. But this hierarchy window is still shows that, which is nice because sometimes we had problems when those things who had either kinematic or dynamic bodies, they are going to be definitely unparented. So but let's go back to the solution. So as you can see, we should use the URP material property based color now. The ball count display system should be modified, and basically what we need to get the URP material property based color, and here too. And now this system is supposed to work, and actually this system is supposed to read and write this, or more precisely, it should write this component, which is kind of interesting that it doesn't show this system. But you know what? Now that we are moving around, let's check upon our system. So we've got this simulation system group now, and we've got this ball count display system. Where is it? I think this ball count data query is what is considers. Is just I don't quite get it why it is mark these read and write. Hmm. Interesting. Interesting, very interesting. So maybe it just analyzes the query that this has in it. Yeah, but it's not really what we are passing this job. Okay, so yeah, so I already talked about the dots hierarchy, the components, the systems, and also we've got this new archetype windows. So we can get how many type of objects are in our systems. I don't really know. Probably it's useful, like checking the chunks and so on, etc. But I guess perhaps this is the late analysis. And yeah, the old entity debugger is still available, but it shows error message. And let's compare now. What does this entity debugger says for this ball count display system? So this is displays the same as this new one because it considers only that default query we got going on. Okay. Okay, now I think that this is it. Now, actually, if I run the game, now the display is displaying things correctly, which is nice. And also, what I would like to talk about is the build. And I created with the previous version a build configuration asset. Now we've got this create. There are so many things to create. Build configuration. This is how you could create a build configuration. And you can now add various components to it. And actually, if I haven't select this, okay, now it's disappeared. Sometimes this little window didn't disappear. So this is from imported automatically from the previous version. So the product name was the Pinball Mansion, company name the Victoria 0.1, build currency this doesn't matter. We've got the scene list, the mansion scene, and this should be auto load because this is the only scene we've got, and the platform Linux, and the configuration I choose debug now, but you can choose develop and release configuration as well. And then you can click the build button in order to, if you want to build a project. And I actually already built it, the project. It displays this error message which could be completely ignored. And now the project is working as intended. The test mode is working too. If I grab my test ball, I can mess with things. And actually, I tried to build it with the previous versions, but the frame rate, that is the reason why I created this frame counter. If you want a video about how did I created that one, please let me know in the comments below. Because if I recall correctly, I haven't created a video about it because I didn't thought that that is that important. And so the main thing is that the frame rate was horrible with the previous version, but now with this new version, the frame rate is absolutely awesome. So the game is now playable, which is very good, and I highly recommend regularly build your game because there are certain things that had worked in the editor perfectly fine, but there were something but the in the build it just didn't work. So for example, when this light switching happens in the balls, we processed an array scoring elements, the bumper moving part. Oh, yeah. We had whole things we should activate and deactivate and so on, etc. If I recall correctly. But in the editor that worked fine, but in the build, when you're processing a collider event or a trigger event, and you want to process an array or a buffer or this dynamic buffer of something, it just totally failed. and all sorts of weird error, burst compile error. There was, then I have to figure out where to turn off the burst compiler, and then I could figure out which system was the issue. So what I recommend is that if you're developing your own game, make sure that you regularly build your game after each new feature, because there are certain things could broke the build. At least this is the moral of that story for me. But I think that was it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you in the next one. Goodbye for now.